Hey guys, TOTW here, and today I'm going to show you guys the best investments to make from Team of the Week 17. If you get the right cards at the right price, you can make thousands of coins so easily. This really is one of the best ways to make coins on FIFA 18. All you have to do is buy the cards and sell them in a couple of weeks' time, and you will make guaranteed profits. As simple as that. So getting on into the investments, we have a really wide variety from expensive high-end cards that you can use and then sell in the future, down to some discard price cards that you can get with no risk whatsoever and sell in the near future. And we also have some good Premier League Player of the Month investments. So I'm recording this on Thursday, and FUT Champion rules have just come out. So if you watch this when the video is released, it's a great time to get some investments, especially if you're looking at any Player of the Month cards. Don't get any Player of the Month investments, so they're mainly the Premier League informs if you're watching this after Player of the Month has been released. And we do have Team of the Year coming up on Monday, so for a lot of the higher rated cards, you want to wait till then just because they will drop down a little bit more in price. But firstly, for all of the discard price informs, we've got pretty much every gold card that's down here apart from Obiang and Carroll, as they both play in the Premier League. So if you can get any of these informs along here, especially I'd say Danilo, just because he actually has a decent card with over 80 and all but 2 stats, and also a decent nationality and league, and also Tello as well, as he has a decent card, very quick, good league and good nation. I think if you can get any of those for around about 10 to maybe 10,500 coins, you can get a lot of them on bid for about 10k, sometimes even cheaper, like 9.9, 9.8. I think Danilo is definitely a good one to pick up, as are pretty much all of these cards, and they're just as discard price investments for any future SBCs that require informs. And also if you go with someone like Castillo, he covers you for a Chilean inform for a potential Player of the Month Sanchez in the future. You never know, especially if he goes to City or something, you could see him playing very well and getting a fair few goals, maybe getting some Player of the Month hype building up around him, so that could be a good investment. Likewise with these Brazilian cards like Matheus and Danilo, you're covering any Brazilian players like Willian or Gabriel Jesus in the Premier League with Player of the Month hype. Also with Carroll and Obiang, you've got 2 Premier League options for Premier League Player of the Month. Now right now Obiang's a little bit too expensive just because he doesn't have that good pace. I mean, he's got a decent card, but I think there's just so many other options that people aren't going to pay about 25k for him. But if he drops to maybe kind of 16, maybe 15k, I think he's probably worth picking up. And then Andy Carroll. Right now you've got Jagielka as an English Premier League informer, and he's already 83 rated and he's about 20k, so I wouldn't pay over like 16, maybe 15k for Carroll. If he drops anywhere below 15k, I think that's a good price to get him for, as you're getting yourself a Premier League inform. Even though he doesn't have that good stats, I think just because of the fact he's English and plays in the Premier League, he could definitely rise up for Player of the Month if you get him at the right price. Moving into the main team, we've got Cuellar as the keeper right here, just like those discard price investments. Get him for about 10.5k or so, and he should be good. He's got a semi-decent card, and he plays in a good league with a good nation. Then we've got Cessignon, and he actually has a very good card. The only downside, though, is that he plays in the Championship, so he's quite hard to link into teams. And although he does have those really good stats and is English, I'd stay away from him unless he hits kind of, probably with Team of the Year coming up, maybe 14, 13k, he could potentially hit that. Right now though, he's just too much at about 25k. And then we've got X-Gator, and I think if you can get him for probably about 11k or less, that's a good deal. Right now he is a little bit more than that, but during Team of the Year I could definitely see him dropping down, and is a good one to get as he's 82 rated, so good for any future Team of the Week SBCs. Koulibaly is just too much, and there are loads of other options in this area, so I'm going to stay away from him. And I would say the same for Bale, as he's just way too expensive. I always stay away from those very expensive high-end cards. And also Immobile, that is way too much for that card. I mean, he doesn't have 3-star skill. He does have 3-star skill, sorry. He doesn't have 4-star, I meant to say. He just isn't really that good. Like those types of players like Immobile, no one uses on this game. If you look in this area, there's so many better options, Dybala being the main one. You've got people like Mertens as well, so definitely stay away from him. But I think Sergio Roberto is definitely a good one to get. If you can get him for as an 84 rated inform with really good stats playing for Barcelona, I'd say about 25k or less. Pick him up, as that's a good price for an 84, and also since you're getting a really good card, I think that is a good price to get him for. But wait until he hits that 25k mark before pulling the trigger on him. If he does, definitely pick him up. Now, Was actually has a really good card. The only issue is he's not that quick for a winger, but with those really well-rounded stats, as he's actually a default midfielder, that's where he normally plays on Ultimate Team as a centre mid. He's already had an inform in that position. As a right mid, I don't think he's that well suited, as I said, because of the lack of pace. I mean, 80 pace is decent, but there are a lot of quicker wingers. But the thing is, there aren't that many right-sided or even left-sided wingers in La Liga. If you look on the right, you pretty much have Carlos Vela, Messi, and Bale, and that's it really. So Vaz gives another option. He's not as expensive as the likes of Bale and Messi, but he does have a really good card. So I could actually see him going up, but you have to get him at the right price. As an 85 rated inform, could be good for SBCs. He's right now about 38k as the lowest by now. If he hits maybe 28k or less, pick him up. He could with Team of the Year, so you never know. Could be a good one there. And then Milivojevic, I think that's how you say this guy's name, is currently about 14k, and I think that's a decent price for Player of the Month if you want to get him now. Maybe try and snipe him. Get him for about 13.5 to 13k tonight if you can snipe him before Player of the Month. If you're watching this once Player of the Month has been released and it requires informs and he's gone up, don't pick him up. But if they haven't gone up for Player of the Month, as you may not require Premier League informs, definitely pick him up. As for a future Player of the Month SBC, he's so cheap for a Premier League inform, and you can probably get him for like 12 to 13k if he isn't required for Player of the Month. So definitely keep an eye on this one. Could be one of the best investments from the Team of the Week. Brahimi as an 86 rated inform is quite cheap, but I would wait for him to drop down more just because he doesn't have the best of League or Nations despite having good stats. So if he hits maybe, he's actually not that much now, which is surprising for his rating. If he is maybe about 32, 33k, pick him up because that's a really good price for this rated inform for any future prime icon SBCs or just big SBCs in the future. And then Bastos is the final option, and I'd say exactly the same. If you can get him for maybe 30k just because he has less good stats, far less pace, worse dribbling, and he just isn't that much of a usable card. But if he hits maybe 30, maybe 28 to 30k, I could 100% see him doing that during Team of the Year. He may even hit like 25k, which is so cheap for an 86 rated inform. So in this Team of the Week, these are two to definitely keep an eye on, as they're very underpriced for their rating. So just try and get them as cheap as possible, and they could be really useful for a future prime icon SBC. And they stand out as two of the best investments for me in this Team of the Week, as well as Milivojevic. This guy down here, it's key to just because he's 82 rated, I reckon he'll hit near discard price. And then you've pretty much just got everyone else down here as the discard price cards, with Danilo standing out as the main one. And then with these two Premier League cards, Carroll's a decent one too if he hits a cheap enough price around 14 to 15k. So if you wanted to know what the best investments are, those are kind of my opinion. I definitely think Milivojevic is going to be the best if he's not needed for Player of the Month, because he's going to be so cheap with Team of the Year coming up. He could potentially hit discard price, so definitely one to keep an eye on. But there we go. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Just pick the cards up and sell them in the future when they rise in value, and it's as simple as that. Just store them in your club and you should be good. But if you want to wait till Team of the Year, feel free. We're going to have so many packs, they're guaranteed to drop down. Probably around Monday and Tuesday will be the best time to buy if these cards aren't needed for any SBCs during that time. But I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you in my next video. Take care.